Hi, and welcome to OnLive Magazine, and we are one of the hottest on live. And I'm your host, Miss Pantheress. And today, our guest is Marc Gordon, and he's the smooth, sexy voice of the legendary group Levert. And he's here today to talk about the awareness of the epidemic of drugs and alcohol abuse in the entertainment business. So, we have Marc on the line. Marc, are you here?
Yes, yes. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How you doing this morning?
I'm hanging. Doing all right.
Yeah, all right.
Just getting it started.
Yeah, I know it's kind of early, but being that we are entertainment magazine and we have a lot of celebrity artists, legendary artists, new and upcoming artists, this is a good awareness for some of the artists to kind of pay attention to what's going on because I looked at your website and I like everything that's going on, what you're doing. Can you explain a little bit about your foundation?
Yeah, S.O.E.L Foundation, S-O.E.L Foundation is an acronym for Saving Our Entertainers' Lives. And um, basically, um, as you know, 9 years ago, almost 10 years, my partner in the group, Vert, passed away.
Right.
And Gerald had a combination of over-the-counter and prescription medication in his system.
Right.
And so it caused me to, kind of pay attention to what's going on and look into, um, I didn't start the foundation then, but after Sean passed, about a year and some change later,
Mhm.
that's when I was really interested in and digged into what was going on,
Right.
and found out as I researched it, I found out that it was a bigger problem than what I really thought it was, and I found out that it's the leading cause of death, uh, surpassing car accidents, um, which was the number one cause of death in America for years, but now it's accidental overdoses, mental health situations. We've seen it in the news all the time, but not only that, when you research, you see that a lot of entertainers have um, had a similar issue,
Right. Exactly.
and it's caused a lot of So my thing is why, and a lot of people will ask why, because it seems like you're in the entertainment business, you're doing great, you got money,
Mhm.
you shouldn't have a problem in the world. So,
Right.
but it's not always the case,
Exactly.
all the glitter ain't gold. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's it people regardless of what you have and where you live and what you do, people have problems,
Exactly.
and it's caused by stress, anxiety. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of people get depressed,
Mhm.
and these are all signs and symptoms of mental health, and a lot of people handle that in different ways.
Right.
And it could be some take to the bottle, they drink,
Uh huh.
some
Uh huh.
do other illicit drugs. So it's just how you handle it, and I basically want to kind of reach out to the public and the communities and just give them some information and
Mhm.
some education and knowledge on the issue, because we just and the thing about it is it's really to help our younger generation, because they are
Right, and they don't know
And
exactly.
yeah, yeah, and they look up to entertainers
Uh huh.
and sports figures and this kind of thing because it's exciting. You see it on TV, you see them on TV, you hear
Uh huh.
the music, you sing the songs, and so it's easy to be a fan. It's easy to be you know um, excited about the entertainment industry,
Right.
and but it's just it can take you down another road if you're not careful.
Right.
So
And you
yeah,
really
so that's
don't. You really don't. Sometimes I was talking to a couple of artists about it too because um, one of the entertainers' son, Johnny Taylor's son, had came to town. We had talked about his dad, and one of his other sons passed away. And they. Um, drugs, drinking, and things. You get caught up. The party life, or just whatever. Like you say, it's different occasions, different reasons. And you really have to be aware. And the younger generation really need to focus on what's going on before they get to that point. Sometimes, but I looked at your website and I really wasn't aware of a lot of the entertainers that you had on your site that really has passed away with, abuse and alcohol. And
right.
I was also looking at the Sean law. That has that passed, or is that what you're trying to do right now for inmates,
Well,
screening inmates?
yeah. Shortly after he passed, I was trying to we put something together. Me and his wife
Uh huh.
had put something together to push it through and try to get that passed because the state of Ohio, um, he had went in. They took him into custody
Uh huh.
for
Right.
a child support case, and he was there for a few days. But in the process, he was going to get out, so it wasn't like they was going to work everything out and get out. But in the process, he was on a prescription, and it was Xanax.
Uh huh.
And he did have a prescription from the doctor. It wasn't like he was just taking it.
Right.
But the thing is even is the drugs you are taking more than likely are dangerous in a couple of ways. And one is a lot of times we're not on time with a lot of things, our schedules and things like that. So,
Right.
especially in entertainment, so, always on the move,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to the next concert, next show, next after party, whatever, and you're drinking, you probably taking medication at the same time,
Right.
and if nothing happens the first time, then you think, oh, well, I've been doing this, I've done it before, so it's no problem.
You're right.
Not necessarily, the case with Sean, but then Sean, in his case, now what happens is you become dependent on that drug
Uh huh.
because you can't, Xanax is similar, very similar to heroin, and
Oh,
what
okay.
it does to you, how you react to it. You have the same symptoms of withdrawals when if you don't take it.
Right.
So this is the case in his situation. They took his prescription as he was in custody, and they didn't. The law at the time in Ohio,
Uh
there's
huh.
a 2-week window before a doctor
Oh,
can
wow.
see an inmate,
Wow.
and so that's a long time because you don't know what the person is coming in there and they have, or what they
Right.
and or what's their health issues.
Exactly.
And so in the process, I had ended up talking to him, like in the middle of the week, and he was fine. But I
Mm-hmm.
be, kind of, twitchy, itchy, just
Right.
going through the withdrawals
Uh-huh.
if they didn't give it to him.
Right.
So that's what ended up happening, and he lost it. Hallucinations, um, just everything. I mean, a piece of the clip was on YouTube, and they put the jail put it out there so
Uh-huh.
they could prove to the public that nothing happened to. They did nothing physical to Sean.
Yeah, because everybody was pretty much wondering. The only clip I seen was, I think, when he was in a chair that they had released at that time, because I know it was so hurtful for everybody because, before that, it was Gerald. And I completely understand what you're saying because, when you um, um, arrested or whatever and you're in there and you don't see a doctor for 2 weeks, that is a long time to go through whatever you have to deal with to wait on a doctor.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So that's what happened with him. I mean, in both cases, it's drug related because you see the effects.
Uh-huh.
The effects are devastating.
Very.
So either, a lethal combination could take you out, or the withdrawals from from a drug like that, from a powerful drug like that,
right,
it can cause you to to lose it. So
right. So are you?
It's something that you need to be, people need to be aware of because the music now they glorify drugs. They glorify these things and not really understanding that these young people are influenced, and and then TV, movies, things that's glorified in the visuals is making it's an influence.
Right, exactly. So are you touring different cities to talk about it, or at different events right now, or?
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm trying to combine entertainment and the forums together. Because a lot of times, in our communities, people are not that eager to talk about mental health and prescription medication or drug use. We tend to kind of bypass the mental health part of it because nobody wants to admit that they have a problem. So I figure if I put entertainment together and include people that's been down that road, that's had some had some challenges and they made it through. I mean, there's a lot of us that's done it, and then people will be drawn to listen to
people that's actually been there, right?
Yeah, listen to their testimony.
Right, because we've all done things and got away with it, and like, okay, well, it was okay, but like you say, it's not. You never know. You never know.
Oh yeah. These drugs. A lot of times, for a long time, even me, I never thought about pills as lethal drugs because you normally, or at least growing up, you felt like you got them from a doctor, and everybody thinks that the doctor is the end all to getting healthy or being they're gonna fix you, and so you think that it's
right, that it's okay to take it however you want to, and you're right. That's exactly how you think. I've done it. A lot of us have done it. Because I know in my time it was volumes and everything else that people were passing around, and you don't think that it can hurt you because you're right. It comes from the doctor, so you can do whatever, and that's the way you think. So You definitely right,
But
but
as I researched it, though, I see that there's special interest in it for doctors. Pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars yearly
right.
on medications.
Uh-huh.
And so, I researched, they have a different agenda in getting these medications out.
Uh-huh.
Whatever symptoms, everything that you have a problem for, or you think you have an ailment, they got a pill for it.
Exactly.
So their fix all is giving you a pill.
Uh-huh.
But in the end, there is, you suffer the repercussions because, if you notice on different commercials, low loss and this, that, and the other, they always show, this happy little scenery on the screen and what it does for you.
Right.
That could help you, but then in the end, you gotta, make sure you
talk
check
to the
your doctor,
right,
check with your doctor,
and then they show
and
everything,
all the,
right, all the things that can happen
give you
to
all
you.
the side effects. You know what I'm saying? So, this is actually, it'll help you, your toenail, but at the end of the day, it may kill your kidney.
Right.
And it's like, it's killing other vital organs that you need.
Exactly.
And so you got to be real careful with giving people drugs. And I think the worst of the situation is so many areas in this that's a red flag. And but it's especially a red flag with kids being misdiagnosed with ADHD, with different symptoms. When really, kids is going to be kids.
Right.
Kids are going to be kids. It's like you can't, just because your kid is active, they might not want to sit down. They want to,
Exactly.
Be kids.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, parents just don't have time for them because many of us have to work several jobs, retired. We don't want to do this or that. And then you got others that some people get a check for their kids to take certain drugs.
Right.
So it's like it's a no-win situation with how they got this set up. Because now you got people that just take it, or they allow their kids to take it because that's another check.
Right. Right. You definitely been doing some research.
Technically, some of these kids, all they need is attention from you.
Exactly. You're right.
Just talk to them. Understand where they are. Let them be a kid. They misdiagnose kids all the time, and in the end, what happens is, this is a young developing mind, and you are interfering in the development of that child's mind.
Right.
Now, through life, once you're taking a medication for so long, it's really hard to, strip them of it. So you're setting this child up for real possible failures down the road.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right. You definitely right. Every subject you talk about, I'm feeling it too, because I know exactly where you're coming from with it. That's why I say you've been doing your research, because you're definitely right.
Yeah, and it's so deep.
Yeah.
That, even our government, who praise the military and and say they look out for us, and they go and fight these wars that they get into and this kind of thing. But many of them come back with PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And as they come back, our brains and our minds, sometimes everybody handles things differently.
Right.
And some of the horrific sights that they've seen in battle, in war, and seeing people that's standing next to them that they came to know in the military get blown up, or they witnessed this.
Right.
This is a hard thing for any normal person to process.
Right.
So that's why many of them come back and they do have PTSD. They're taking something for it. They can't even, and a lot of them can't even get beds in a facility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just last week, there was an article out about 307,000 ex-veterans were just waiting for the application to be processed to get health care.
Wow.
And 307,000 of them died just waiting for the application to process.
Wow.
So many of them probably have PTSD. Many of them have issues. But how are you part of this great military and this great country, and you're waiting for an application to process so that you can get your health care?
Wow. Right. Yeah, it's deep. It gets deep. It's an ongoing situation. I completely understand. That's why, when I was looking at your site, I was like, wow, you really hit a lot of issues and a lot of different situations. I don't know how you have all the time to do that. And your group, are you mentioning that, are you still performing right now, Levert 2?
Yes, we're actually getting some things together to do some performances. Been rehearsing, and as a new member, because for a while, a lot of people didn't understand that. We got a lot of people that's encouraging me, and that's why I continue to do it. It's something that, like I said before Sean passed, we started the group. We started Levert 2.
Right.
And we worked on a record, and it was completely, well, not completely, but it was almost completely done at the time that he passed. And so I was, in a place of, well, do I continue to put it out, or do I not put it out, or what do I do? And so I ended up continuing on with the other guys. So it was me and Sean and the new guy, Black Rose. His name is Roosevelt, but he goes by Black Rose. So that's, the start of, or the rebirth of Levert.
Right.
And it was Levert 2. So, so after Sean passed, it was just me and him for a period. And just recently, just added a new member because I wanted to round it back off to the 3 members.
Right.
And his name is Pantheress Smith.
And,
we're all from Ohio.
Okay.
So, we're working on new music, and we've done some rehearsals to do some shows. So, we're gearing up to, do some things this coming year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. You keeping it going. I'm sure that they would have wanted to keep it going because that's what y'all started years ago, and when you start a project, for the most part, you wish that, your dreams and compassions that you had would continue on. So I think it's really a good idea. And I know it's always contribute back to Sean and Gerald. And I know that's kind of rough. Y'all grew up together and did a lot of things together, the music industry and the whole bit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Well, it's funny to me, but I've had people tell me that I should, not use the name because, a couple of people tell me, well, out of respect of Gerald, you shouldn't use the name.
But why?
Why shouldn't I use the name?
Y'all started
Well,
together.
Exactly. I mean, it's a name that, even though it's their last name, but it's the name that we chose to use.
Exactly.
And that name is the name that we, my whole career, this is the name that I promoted.
Exactly.
It wasn't really my name that I promoted. It wasn't, just a name that we made up that we promoted. This was the name that we promoted. This was the brand that we promoted. So it's like, how do I walk away and say, well, no, I'm not going to use a brand that I promoted for years.
Right.
Not use it.
Exactly.
So
it's like throwing it away.
I don't understand that. I think, when you have fans that like, every group or that's been out, everyone has their particular fans.
Right.
And that they like in the group, and they feel like, that's the people they really come to see. They like the group, but they like individuals too. And I think, so I think that plays a part. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm like a co-founder of a group that the name was Levert, and what do you do about that?
Exactly. You keep it rolling because y'all started together, and mostly you and Gerald produced a lot of the songs, correct? But the thing of it is, you can't just, I don't know how someone would expect you to just drop something that you've been a part of and started for years and change that. That's a part of you, and they are still a part of you. So that's something special to you also that people don't look at. And
and then too, it's like at this stage of the game, if I was like 20 years old, maybe I wouldn't have a thought about it. And then originally, a lot of people don't know that originally when we was getting this thing started, me and Sean, we had a conference call with we had a PR person and different people involved at the time that were on a conference call. And actually, I did want to change the name totally from anything with Levert. But Sean was the one that was like, well, why, we should just we got to keep Levert in there.
Right.
And so that's where Levert 2 came into play. It was like, I said, well, that's cool. We can go with that. It's a way to, we keep Levert, but at the same time, it's like a second coming, a reintroduction to Levert.
Right.
We know that the core is changed a little, and we know who's not there. But the thing is to carry on the tradition of giving the people the music, some of the sound that we came up with.
Exactly.
And keep that going and keep the name going, keep the brand going, and it's not about me trying to how am I trying to get over on something that I created. It's kind of a dumb argument, but
I'm sure the majority.
Those are some of the things that people have come up with, and it is it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's like people have to hear whether you like something or not. It doesn't even matter matter about the name.
Right.
If you heard something on the radio and you didn't catch who sang it or who did it, what's the first thing you're going to do? It's like, man, I like that. That's the first thing you're going to do.
Exactly.
The next thing you're going to do is going to say, well, who is that? I want to know who that is. If you don't know. You know, so that's just the natural process. So it's not about the name. It's not necessarily going to make you say whether you like something or not. It's whether you hear the music and you like what it sounds like.
Right. Right. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine, you know, because I will be looking for it. You know, at least when you hear Levert too, you're gonna tune in anyway, because you know that it's you, because you know that you started regrouping and you carrying on the name, that you co-founded with. So I don't think it's a problem. It's always somebody that's gonna be negative, but I think it's gonna be great. Because everybody know that it was y'all three, so it is only right for you to continue. That's what you started with, so it's all good. It is all good.
I mean, you can really think about how many groups that's had member changes or whatever.
And you keep going.
I mean, there's two sets of Temptations that was rolling around. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And there's no problem with that. So,
and I'm sure they got the same thing.
A lot of groups that's like that.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of groups that does that. They split up, the members split up, and they keep the names going or whatever. And to me, it's all about keeping the legendary status, the legendary music out. Because we miss that. Especially our age group, we want to continue to hear it. The new era, that's fine, because I love all types of music, but I'm old school. I like the old school grooves, the old school funk, so I like hearing it, so I think it's good. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm sure about 1 million and more don't have a problem with it either. So the negative can be negative. But
everybody ain't going to anyway. So.
Oh yeah, you know how that roll. But I just want to thank you for stopping by and chatting with me on live. And of course, this will make a good impact with some of the artists and some of the new artists with OnLive Magazine. And I wish you all success in S.O.E.L Foundation. And I will keep up with you and hope to see you in San Antonio or wherever I can catch you at one of these shows or whatever's coming up. And you have anything to say as we roll out of here?
Yeah, check us out at SOELfoundation.org, SOELfoundation.org.